I'm going to tell you a hunting story about an owl that landed next to me in a tree when I was hunting for deer in New Hampshire. The rule is when you're hunting for deer, you're allowed to hunt 30 minutes before sunrise all the way till 30 minutes after sunset. And Fish and Game sets up these rules for a reason. For example, if let's say you're hunting for duck, and the same thing applies. 30 minutes after sunset, you're done. You've got to paddle in. You can't be out in the water hunting duck because Fish and Game knows that the ducks fly into their home. They land on the water probably 45 minutes after sunset, and it's what they call fair game, and it's to establish a fair to make it fair for the duck. They don't want you sitting in their nest waiting to blast them away when they come home, basically. And that's one of the things that I respect about the United States is they've established this fair game of hunting. And one of the things that I respect out of Londonderry Fish and Game, where I learned this hunter ethic. And I've actually paddled in at 30 minutes. I'm done hunting, and I've had people out there that stayed out 5 or 10 minutes behind, and that's on their conscience. So back to my deer hunting story with this owl. So it was sunset had passed, so I had 30 more minutes until I can no longer hunt for deer, and I was 18 feet up in a tree in a deer stand, waiting, looking for deer, looking in all directions. It's getting dark and harder to see, and I'm down to 20 minutes to go, and I'm getting so desperate that I broke out this call, this deer call. You bleat, and normally I don't use that, but hey, 20 minutes to go, I'm pulling out everything, every trick in the book. So what that call did though was an owl had heard that, and about owls and their super sensitive ears. So out of the corner of my eye, I saw this owl fly in and land on a tree right next to me. Didn't hear it coming. Did not hear it coming. They're the quietest things. But lucky, I'm looking left, I'm looking right, I'm looking for my deer, and I see this owl land on this tree branch in the tree right next to me. That was scary. That was one of the scariest things I've ever encountered in the woods, to tell you the truth, because owls have talons. Okay, they're a bird of prey. They have the hooked beak. They can rip a hole in my head and leave me for dead. Trust me. And so that was very discomforting to have an owl land next to you as it's getting dark in a tree right next to you. So I'm like, really? I'm talking to the owl. Really? You got to land right next to me? And so now I'm afraid to look for a deer, because I'm afraid if I look over here, look around for a deer, that I'm going to get buzzed by this bird of prey. And owls, it's a big bird, okay? So I'll keep looking back at the owl, and I'm looking for my deer, and I'm like, talking to the owl, go away, looking around. I look back, the owl was gone, and all I saw was this branch just flopping where it took off. And owls can fly by super high sensitive microphones that scientists will put up to test what kind of noise level an owl makes. And that owl will fly by all those microphones, and those scientists will have their earphones on and be astonished that the owl doesn't make a sound. It's an amazing, amazing bird. And so, of course, I never heard it take off. Then you hear it, turn around, and I just saw this branch. I'm like, and I knew. I said, you little stinker. I said, I knew that owl was still watching me, and that owl was going to mess with me. I knew it. So now I'm really scared. So I'm like down to like 10 minutes to go. I'm looking around, and I'm looking back. I'm looking for the owl. I'm looking for the deer. But I couldn't see the owl anywhere. And sure enough, I turned around just in the nick of time to see this owl flying right towards me. And you know what? I can exaggerate and say I thought I saw him laughing, because if I was the owl, if that was me, I would have been laughing at the human, because he was flying right at me and he buzzed right by me. And if I didn't turn around and look, he would. I'm not saying he would have, gouged me, but I've seen videos of owls coming down and swooping on animals that were too big to catch, just messing with them. So I think he was messing with me, and that was one of the scariest things. But that's what I love. And I didn't get a deer that day, but I got a story and I got an experience. And I'll tell you what, every time I go into the woods hunting and I don't get a deer, which is more often than not, I still thoroughly enjoy being in nature because those types of experiences. So there's my owl story. Hope you enjoyed it.